The Indianapolis Colts did something that is completely unprecedented.
Couldn't be more thrilled.
Interim coach is going to be none other than former Colts center and ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday.
When Jim Irsay announced Jeff Saturday as the interim head coach for the Indianapolis Colts, it was kind of wildly criticized for being something that professional sports teams don't really do. Sure, there are coaches that jump to the front of the line. Steve Nash got a head coaching job because he was an assistant or special interest person who helped out with the Golden State Warriors and Kevin Durant.
Assistant to the regional manager.
And that got him a head coaching gig. But this doesn't happen in the NFL. And what's more interesting is how it happened. But for that, let's rewind a little bit. It was 2012. The Colts had the number 1 pick, and they had generational talent, Andrew Luck, sitting right there at the top of the draft board.
With the first pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Andrew Luck.
And they did really well. The Colts had 3 consecutive seasons that they went 11-5, and they went to an AFC Championship game. And if Deflategate doesn't happen, maybe they get to a Super Bowl. Okay, I'm kidding. That was a whooping. And everything was looking great for the Colts. They had this sustained success, and they had a generational quarterback. And we know in the NFL, you only go as far as your quarterback. And the Colts had their guy, this generational type of talent, until
Andrew Luck has informed the Indianapolis Colts that he plans to retire from the NFL.
Andrew Luck's retirement shocked the entire sports world. And the Colts were kind of stuck. They didn't have a backup plan because they didn't think they needed a backup plan. This wasn't a Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers situation, or an Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. The Colts had no plan, and thus began this carousel of quarterbacks that have been under center for the Indianapolis Colts since that day that Andrew Luck retired. Jacoby Brissett, Brian Hoyer, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, and Sam Ehlinger all played snaps and were under center for the Colts since 2018. These are all the starting quarterbacks that the Colts have had in the last 4 years. And this sort of brings me to my point. Frank Reich was hired in 2018 and only had 1 season with Andrew Luck as his quarterback. And since he was hired, they haven't gotten the quarterback position right. And yet the Colts still made the playoffs in 2 of the 4 seasons that he was there. So fast forward to this season, Frank Reich has to be aware that he's kind of on the hot seat after how last season ended.
Did I take something from this year that will help us next year get back to where we want to get? I know everybody in here can say yes.
There's no way he isn't aware of the fact that his seat's getting a little bit warm. He brings in Matt Ryan, another veteran quarterback who he thinks still has some stuff left in the tank to try to get them to the playoffs and beyond.
You know, I've been in the same place for such a long time that makes this exciting.
And they get off to a bad start. And this is where it gets completely unprecedented. Colts owner Jim Irsay told Frank Reich to bench starting quarterback Matt Ryan in favor of Sam Ehlinger. So the owner told the coach who to play at quarterback, who was the best quarterback on the team. And some will claim this was because of Ehlinger's ability to scramble, and the offensive line has been a little bit hurt for the Colts this season. And I think that there is some validity to that. But still, Matt Ryan is the best quarterback on the roster. Sam Ehlinger's probably the 3rd best quarterback. So the Colts are sitting at 3-3-1. And the owner just told the head coach who to play at quarterback. This doesn't really scream like you are wanting this head coach to be your head coach much longer. And inevitably, they lose their next 2 games. They're now 3-5-1, and Frank Reich is fired. So let's get this straight. Jim Irsay made the move to bench the best quarterback on their team. And then when they lose, He has now fired the head coach that he told to start the next quarterback. And then didn't work out. Surprise, surprise.
I was shocked.
Fires Frank Reich and then hires his buddy, Jeff Saturday, whose only coaching experience has been at the high school level.
Hearing Coach Saturday, what's that like?
It's strange at times.
I have nothing against Jeff Saturday. By the way, this is more of an indictment on Jim Irsay. Okay, great. So you're tanking. I mean, that's what this seems like. There are literally no way that you are trying to win games when you hire someone who was a high school coach and you have benched your starting quarterback. And Jim Irsay comes out and says this weird thing about coaches being scared.
I'm glad he doesn't have any NFL experience. I'm glad he hasn't learned the fear that's in this league. That's because it's tough for all our coaches. They're afraid. They go to analytics, and it gets difficult.
And now it's game day. And everyone is looking to the sideline to see what it's going to be like with Jeff Saturday as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And guess who trots out as the starting quarterback? Matt Ryan. The man that the owner didn't want Frank Reich to start is now the starting quarterback when Irsay's friend Jeff Saturday, so he can play with Saturday but can't play with Reich. This is why this seems unprecedented, because it seems to me that the owner didn't want the coach but tried to make it impossible for him to win so that he could justify firing him, and it's all just completely sloppy. And maybe I'm wrong, but this move just seemed really sketchy and unprofessional. And it really does feel like the owner tried to sabotage the coach so that he could justify firing him and give his friend the job. We just witnessed an unprecedented move in professional sports. And it led to Jeff Saturday, who was last coaching 14-year-olds, being the guy now in Indianapolis. Man. Well, that's how Jeff Saturday got the job. Pretty crazy.